should have done this first. You fool! You made a grave mistake. Let's see if... Oh, well, that works. Aha! Uh-oh. Says we're good. What's going on, guys? My name's Matt, and I like to talk a lot. Actually, it should have been, my name's Matt Freeman, and I like to talk about a lot. But does that matter? Not really. Look how empty this garage looks. It blows my mind. There's still obviously stuff to go through. Don't get me wrong. You can see the small pile in that back corner. Just needs organized. Build some shelves up there. Put that stuff away so it's not just thrown in the corner. But for the one thing at the start of this video, I kind of just said, fuck it. Threw it over there. I'm sitting on a really small chair right now. This is a really beautiful little Tykes chair. Obviously, you can tell the chair is literally almost only the size of my chest. Oh, hey, Rachel, do you like my little chair? It's my little work chair. You guys got that little rolly stool. I don't got no rolly stool, but I've got this little Tykes yellow chair that I've used since forever. It puts me all the way down here. But the tractor in the clean garage, it's all clean. Look at how much room for activities I have. I can do stuff over here. I can frolic over here. I can frolic over here. Frolic. So much space for activities. So much space to work on the drag tractor. Whew. So excited. So excited for today. So excited to do a whole bunch of nothing while live streaming it. The internet's been atrocious the last couple days. It has not been working for me. But I got a lot of shit squared away today. And it for some reason seems like the Wi-Fi hates the cold weather, but yet then the extender loves the cold weather. So now that it's cold, the extender's working like brilliantly. Yeah, I could put some wheels on it for sure. Actually, funny enough, I got these little wheels. Oh yeah, you can actually see them right here. Right there. Those little wheels right there. They're like little they're like wheels on a little bracket. I just got to fixingly design the bracket because yeah, I know, Rachel, isn't it impressive? Impressive. I kept telling you guys I was busting my ass in here. And now, like I said, it kind of looks still like there's some stuff, some stuff over here by my dad's motorcycle that still needs to put away. There's stuff in the back over there that's in the back corner that needs put away. But those I just need to put shelves up so I get everything off the floor. And then the whole motherfucker will be open. But I got this thing here. You can see this is my my portable engine stand that I made. It's just my old carpentry workbench that I attached 2x4 legs to. And I'm going to attach one of these onto the legs on the bottom down here so that I can tip this guy and roll it around. And then I got my big old car chair over here that takes up a lot of space that I'm going to put the other set of these wheels on the back side of it so I can tip the chair and roll it around because it's a real pain in the ass to have to try to move these things around constantly. So I figured, hey, put some little baby wheels on her, get her movement. But, yeah. Can't really, yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you can tell, but let me just give you guys Matt Freeman's insight on how to make the perfect tractor stand, okay? So like there's no front wheels on that tractor right now, but as you can tell, the tractor front end is like up in the air because I need it off the ground to be able to work on it, and I had to use what I had around me. Now originally I had wood and bricks stacked up on top of each other to make some form of stand. Obviously it was real teeter-tottery, not really safe to crawl underneath of it and get work done to it. So what did I do? I decided to use something Now, this was actually like a year ago that I put this here, but still, I decided to use something that was broken, didn't work anymore, that I couldn't get rid of because they wanted to charge me like $15 just to throw it away. I turned an old television into a stand. Look at that, how beautiful that is. Now the tractor sits on that television because of the perfect height and the television strong enough not to break. And now I've got myself a perfect amount of room to crawl underneath this tractor, feel perfectly safe because this motherfucker is solid to this TV. Perfect. I'm balling out of control up in here. I don't even know what to do with myself anymore. But today, as I work on this and talk to everybody, I've only got one main goal for the tractor while working on it, and that is I want to get it to the point where I have this piece of wood taken off, this piece of wood I bolted to the frame because the Honda motor that I used originally on it didn't mount to the original holes of the original engine, and instead drilling through metal to create new holes, I just drilled a piece of wood or just bolted a piece of wood to it, and then re-drilled holes and ran the bolts through there to hold it. So I need to take that piece of wood off. It might go back on because I might, until at least I get the big engine figured out, whether Mike really hooks me up with the big engine or not, or I inevitably have to try to figure out how to put one of these snowmobile engines on here, because I do have a 250 two-stroke snowmobile sitting over there, snowmobile engine sitting over there. I could easily put on it, but I feel like that would be a lot of power and really scary for this tiny little tractor to start off with. And at least Mike's engine would be a four-stroke, so it wouldn't have so much want to fucking flip the tractor on top of you. But secondly, I was going to redo the steering using the original steering that was on it, but after much thought, I realized the only way I can use the old steering the way I want to would be have to like drill and weld new parts onto the old steering. And realistically, this tractor is this tractor is from 1971 or 1970, somewhere around there. And I don't want to ruin it too much. Obviously, I might break it when I decide to go really fast on it, but for the most part, I'm just trying to save as much as I can from it, since it is really old and technically it is an antique at this point. So I'm going just to remove this original front steering, which is this bar right here, and try to just build my own from it. Oh, Joe, I would love that. Would love that, because actually on top of that, not only do I have to completely rebuild the steering, the engine, from where the tires to the engine to where you sit are, you've only got about 3 feet from the front tire to you. And then you put a big motor on this to go really fast. If you hit gas at all, it's just going to stand straight up because it's going to have practically no weight in the front. So realistically, not only do I have to rebuild the steering, I have to now extend the tractor forward at least a foot, at least. And that still isn't giving you a ton of space, but I trust myself to be able to build it with an extension of a foot, and having a tractor that I could use for parts would be prime time awesomeness. I was originally going to remove the rear end and move it backwards, but unfortunately, due to the way that the tractor is designed, the tractor rear end is actually a part of the tractor. It's like the old school real tractors in this world, where like the transmission and the gearing and everything is built into the actual frame of the tractor at the bottom. That's what this thing's built like. So like, I can't extend the rear end. If I want the tractor to be longer, I have to physically build forward. So what I think I'm going to do is initially, because I don't have a welder, I'm just going to build the front end using bolts and just bolt everything together. And then maybe, if I'm lucky, I can convince Mike to bring his new fancy welder, or convince him to take the tractor to his work, and we can actually then just weld the pieces together that I have pre-bolted together, because I don't have a welder, and there's no way in hell I'm building this into a drag tractor with a bolted together front end and trusting to go fast in it, because I don't trust myself enough to know that bolts are going to hold and not break and kill me. All right, Joe. Well, we'll have to figure out a time, and or, obviously with all the bullshit going on. How's it going, Martin? With all the bullshit going around, we're going to have to find ourselves a time in which I can get that off of you and we can get it here, because I obviously don't own anything that can get it here. I mean, I do have a Dodge truck, but it's lucky to make it around the block, let alone drive to your house, pick up a tractor, and feel that I'd safely get home with a tractor in the bed. Plus, I'd probably never get it out of the bed if I got it in there, because it's so rusty, it probably would just fall through if we put one in there. Regardless, I am sitting in front of this little heater this heater right here. It's keeping me warm, which is really fucking cold out in Ohio. Imagine that. I definitely want to get to working, but obviously sitting in front of this heater is just keeping me warm, and I'm just sitting here wanting to stay warm, so I haven't really gotten up to doing that. A few things I still need to take off. This is something electronical right here I don't need no more. It's got a real big heat sink on it, and it's got 3 prongs down at the bottom. I'm not really 100% sure what it was used for prior to all this, because I literally used this mower to mow my yard for like 10 years of my life before it blew up. Well, it didn't really blow up, but the engine that was on it needed a new carburetor, and my dad swore he was going to do it and did nothing with it. And then eventually we got ourselves a new push mower, and my dad just started making me push mow my yard. And then I stole this guy and started doing work to it years ago. Just really wanted to get it running, regardless to if it was correct or not. And then my dad told me, "Oh, I have a brand new carburetor for that. I was going to put that back together this summer." And I was like, "Yeah, right. You've had this quote unquote rebuilt carburetor now for like 10 years, and you have yet to put it on." And so I stole it. I put it in the garage. I posted it up on this television. I removed the front end. Well, part of the front end, like the wheels that were completely flat, and henceforth why I decided to redesign the entire front end anyway. So this is the parts taken off, but this was the old steering for it. So like it was like, well, okay, that would have been out. So it was like this in a setup, and obviously this bar was the steering. So every time you turned, it moved the wheel back and forth. And this was the shaft and everything, obviously. But the problem is, if I want to put these 4-wheeler tires on the front, these 4-wheeler tires, they have a tapered shaft. So you can see how the shaft down here is fat and skinny up at the top. So to use these 4-wheeler tires, I can't use these original fucking wheel shafts. I have to use the original that came with them, which is not horribly bad, but it just made it to the point where then it went from, I was going to try to make it work with what I had, and now I have to completely rebuild the entire front end to use these 4-wheeler tires. Now, the only reason I'm using these 4-wheeler tires is because, A, the tiny tires that were on it technically made the tractor tip forward. So the ass end of the tractor was up and the front end of the tractor was down. Now, it was also built like a regular tractor in the sense of the tires were at least still big enough that when the tractor sat, it only had a slight incline. It wasn't like you were like completely facing down. But when I mocked it, and I had this thing held up to the same height of what it would be sitting at with those four-wheeler tires I have, which are actually from a Blaster. They're Blaster front end tires, rims and everything. It sits so it's almost dead straight, and I want that more because I would rather the thing be straight. Now on top of this, I'm expecting to inevitably put a very large motor on this to go faster with it, obviously. And with the tiny tires I had on it, a 5 horsepower Honda motor I had on it, in third gear, if I dropped the clutch, I could get this thing to flip me off the back. It would stand completely straight up and throw me off the back of the tractor because it's so short. And only thing it had for weight were these tiny 4.10-inch tires in the front and this little tiny engine that surprisingly had enough. It's the equivalent. At least they say online, the equivalent of a 5 horsepower motor is the equivalent of having 110 cc's. So 110 cc's on this little frame had enough power to kick it and stand it straight up when I drop the clutch. And it's got a built-in clutch. I mean, it just makes sense for most people because I mean, it's a mower. So like the cool way about it, I can't really like move the camera without worrying too much about I might have to anyways here. I might just move my engine stand over here and then move the computer closer. But the clutch is a locking clutch, so when you push the pedal forward, it locks this front gear, which is in theory what you're engaging the clutch at that point. There's a little button / pedal in front of the pedal. If you click that, it disengages the clutch, allowing the pedal to come backwards, which then disengages the belt so the motor isn't spinning on it. And I'm going to keep all this because this is actually really an extremely strongly built setup. Plus, recently, I mean, I'm going to guess probably within the last 10 years or so, my dad replaced the springs for this clutch. And so they're like brand fucking new. And it also has a brake, which, that's another thing. Mowers rarely came with brakes, like legit brakes, okay? I would understand you maybe have some form of, I don't know, piece of metal that pushes in on the axle or something, or not the axle, the main drive shaft. But if you actually push this pedal forward, it engages a legitimate brake for the rear end. And it's got pads and everything. I'll probably have to rebuild the pads because obviously, like I said, since this guy is from the 70s, I doubt anybody's got spare excess 1970 wheel horse brake pads laying around, but that would be in any good shape. And if they did, I'm sure they'd be $1 million bajillion, so then you wouldn't want to fucking wear them down anyways. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of amazing qualities. Literally, if you look up like drag people who build drag tractors or even just pulling tractors in general, people are fucking these frames. This exact frame is an extremely sought after drag tractor / pulling tractor frame, just because it's a solid frame tractor. It's got a solid built rear end with gears. So I've got first, well, I'm in neutral. I've got first, I've got second, I've got third, and I've got reverse. Now, naturally, there's no clutch when you shift, so it's not a normal riding thing, like you wouldn't go first and then you wouldn't catch up to speed and then shift to second. Like you start in second, or you start first, or you start in second, or you start in third. Third being the highest gear, obviously. Third gear is faster than shit. The steering column, this is like one of the best steerings I've ever had in my entire life. I'm going to have to reuse it. So I'll have to figure out how to manipulate the old steering without destroying it too much into being able to use it with the new one. But I mean, look how easy that is. It's got a perfect stop to it. It's built on 2 giant cammed gears. So I mean, you can just flick the steering wheel and it rolls. And it's like, I don't know how much you can see. Yeah, you can see that in the front. I don't know if you can see that moving, but that thing moves a lot. Travel. Got a battery box in the front. Had a dash, which I was going to reuse this dash, but I'm starting to think maybe I'd just build my own, because it's got a lot of switches and stuff on it that are pretty interesting. It's cool. It'd be nice to reuse it, but for the things that I want to use it for, the way I want to build it and stuff, I'd probably have to take some of these switches out and put new ones in and stuff like that. And like I said, I want to try to keep as much original as possible, so it wouldn't be that hard for me to get a piece of plastic to mount in that section and just put my own fucking light switches in different places for each thing to work as it needs to work. Totally forgot that before the stream started, I was going to take a pee, and I didn't. So obviously right now all I can think about is how bad I have to go to the bathroom. My dog also, this is when she's supposed to go to sleep at night, and I've been running into this problem of every time I start streaming, she just sits inside of her cage and watches me move around, or watches me sit here and talk. So finally went out, got one of her blankets. This is just one of her outside blankets. So when she's outside running around in the yard, if she gets tired, she grabs her blanket, curls up into a ball, and she curls up in a ball in the blanket to keep warm and stuff, or just when she takes a nap, even though she's not really out in the cold too much. But so all I do is just to grab the blanket and throw it over top of her crate. So if you see that big white thing that's behind that engine stand right there, it's her big blanket. But let me see if I can. This thing's gonna be a problem. It keeps catching my fucking. I got a hole in my pants. This stupid thing keeps catching it. What I'm gonna try to do. So if the stream shortly cuts out, I slightly apologize, because I really don't. The wire I'm using for my internet at the moment is currently broken. It works enough that if I leave the computer sitting where it's at, it will be good to go. But I'm gonna try to move you guys a little bit closer, so that way you can see a little bit more of what I'm actually doing, since I'm gonna be like close up on this thing. And then I don't have to like scream from the other side of my garage just to have you guys hear what I'm trying to say to you. So I'm trying to move this thing. It didn't unplug yet. There it is, baby. It's a full facial front-facing view of what we're doing. And you just use that engine stand as a. And the other thing I'm going to do, which creates another big pain in the ass that's going to have to be worked around, but realistically it should be a lot easier to figure out than when I'm going to have to do the whole front end of this thing. But naturally there'd be, just using this as an example, there would be this pulley. It represents the engine pulley. It would sit somewhere around about here. So the belt would go from here down to the clutch pulley, underneath the tractor, all the way back. The drive pulley of the main shaft, that would drive like the actual rear end or whatever. And it's way back here in the back. So it goes from here to here, all the way back to this back one, then up to this random pulley up here that has no bearing at all. Like, it's literally just a bolt screwed into the side of the engine with a pulley sitting on it, and it has no bearing. So it's super stiff. I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it has, because this is an original pulley. Everything on here is original. Nothing has been replaced besides that damn spring. And so I'm going to take off this pulley, and we're going to put on a pulley with a chain with a sprocket. Because what I want, naturally, with the way the tractor motor is set up and the way that's obviously built, is you'd have a centrifugal clutch on your motor. When you engage this clutch, which is engages the whole engine to actually run on the belt, you won't actually propel forward until you actually add throttle to it, and then the centrifugal clutch engages, which has it's split out, and as it spins faster, it spins together, which grabs the belt, which allows you to actually pull forward for momentum or reverse or whatever you're doing, which is fine. But this belt, and I can't. Oh wait, can I? Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I can get this off, but I forgot I already got it off. This belt's massive. Okay, this is like at least a 2.5 foot belt from where it goes around. Actually, now that I hold this in my hands, I'm realizing this isn't the original belt. So this isn't even the right belt. Because I was gonna say, I even when I grabbed this, I was like, this doesn't really seem like it's long enough. Not 100% sure where the original belt's at the moment, but it's like at least another foot longer than this belt. Um, it's huge for being a tractor system and running on one belt that's fucking 8 feet long. It's way too much extra belt. So the way I'd like to have it set up is so replace this pulley here, put one in there that's actually got either a bearing or just that spins better than this one, because this one you can just feel it spinning it by hand. It feels like trash. But I want to have it so be centrifugal clutch here, the automatic engage, disengage pedal clutch on the side here, and this random pulley in the back that's just a free spinning pulley is where the original is going to go. So I can probably use that small belt or even maybe a smaller belt to run it between these three pulleys. But then instead of just putting a pulley back on this one, weld or bolt a sprocket to the side of this pulley and then run a chain, which this chain was laying underneath. I originally thought I was going to use this chain, but then I realized that this chain is only a bike chain, and I'm sure a bike chain would do fine for a while, but for the amount of torque that's going to be put onto this chain, I really don't think that a bike chain's going to last very long. So it'd probably just be smart to put a big chain on it from the get-go. I think that when I sold the 300, I gave the 300 chain I had to Matt, which is no big deal, but it would have been so much nicer to have a four-wheeler chain hooked up. But then pretty much just take off this drive sprocket down here, or this drive belt pulley, and replace it with a sprocket, and then have it so it's literally just chained from this random post to the drive, so that way the drive connection can never slip. The drive connection will be the strongest point of the whole thing. It should work, but then we leave into a few other issues, like I'm going to have a sprocket there, my leg's going to be right here, so unless I build a metal cover to cover it, probably going to have a chance of having that chain break and or shoving my leg into a moving sprocket spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. So probably be best if I built the cover, go with it if I do inevitably go that route. But like I said, even though that sounds really complicated, that sounds way easier than having to rebuild the front end of this tractor, because somebody already, like, this front plate is not original. Somebody put this here. So I'm really not sure. Like, I don't want to grind that off. You can tell they welded it on, but I don't want to grind that off. But there's really not a whole lot of room left for me to actually add any metal onto there without fucking running into this plate being an issue. Then also it's going to look a little strange when the front end sticks out this much farther and there's like this metal plate midway through the thing, but whatever. Whatever, we do with what we can. So probably be best to just start tankering with her. We could sit here and talk till my face turns blue about the things I want to do to her, but it's going to take me much longer to get them done. Izzy, be quiet. Lay down. Go night-night. Izzy, time to go sleepy. Lay down. Izzy, lay down. Are you in there moving? You lay down. All the way down. Good girl. Now stay there. But hello, everybody. I already said hi to Martin. I know Joe's here. Rachel was here. How's your guys' nights going? Hopefully everybody else is having a good night, as long as the same as I am. My internet worked so shitty yesterday that I didn't even get to use YouTube at all. Like I didn't get to watch my videos that I like to watch. I didn't get to upload nothing. I didn't get to do nothing. All I did was literally watch all of the Harry Potter movies in one day, which, whew, talk about a lot. Each Harry Potter is generally 2 hours and 40 minutes long. And there's 7 of them, and technically, no, I think there's 8. Is there 8? 7. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. There's either 7 or 8 Harry Potter movies. Regardless, I watched all of them all yesterday because my internet didn't work. And the last movie, which is obviously the last Harry Potter, I finished at 1:30 in the morning. Started at 10 o'clock in the morning and finished at 1:30 in the morning. Now, I'll also admit I did skip through a few of them because there are a few parts of the movies I hate just because they're either like really sad or just really stupid, because it's the way movies are sometimes. But for the most part, I did watch the majority of the rest of them. I just, like I said, it was just a little bit here and there that I would skip through if I absolutely felt like, oh, I don't want to watch this again. This is stupid. And there was also a few of them that I let the DVD get a little bit too scratched up. So by the time I tried to watch it, I couldn't actually see nothing because that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to find a damn socket that fits to that size, and hopefully I've got one close by, because is this going to work? Because that would be so awesome if it just happened that the socket that I have already pre-hooked up to my wrench was the size that I needed. By the looks of it, and it's a little too small. But this is also good because we're just a smidgen too small. This is a 1/2 inch. Yep, knew that much. Because I myself am not a super tinkerer, and I'm not good with engines. But I tell you what, you work enough times on with watching Mike work on things, or just doodling around with the little things that I like to mess around with, and sooner or later, you find out that you are actually pretty good at guessing what size socket you need. Or at least what size socket you're holding, if you can't figure out what you need. Oh yes, Joe. I have seen the first 4 seasons, I think. I'm either at the end of season 4 or the top of season 5 for Taskmasters. But yes, I totally admit it is a fucking hilarious show. I'm really surprised that they never either rebooted it and made it their own American version of it over here, or also surprised that that they just didn't even fucking show any episodes here on TV. But I'm like you, I also found it on YouTube because YouTube's amazing, and they do everything. Well, I gotta go through my socket drawer here and hope that I find something that's bigger than 1/2 inch that fits to the socket that I'm using. I mean, I guess if I could get another another quote unquote fits all to work, but I have two of them sitting in this drawer that both don't work because they got left out in the rain, so they're like this one's stuck solid shut. I can't get it to break open. Yeah, no, it ain't breaking open. And then I have, I just put it back in here. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. And I have this one here. It's like half open, but it's also rusted to the point where I can't get it to open either. So now I have to figure out some other way of getting this fucking thing off of here. What size is this? This is a 11/16. I'm going to guess that's way too fucking big, but let's shoot for the moon. Way too fucking big, just as I thought it was. All right, all right. Off to a killer start. What's this? What size is this wrench? 9/16. Is it a 9/16 wrench? Well, it kind of held. See if I can get it. Oh, yeah, that works, baby. That fucking works. Am I going to be able to get it to work the way I want to? Who knows? But we out here. We out here. We're doing it. Because now here I have a crescent wrench and fits all. I've got to somehow figure out how to hook this guy up so that I can hold on to the bottom and the top at the same time. Probably going to have to disappear under it. Oh yeah, Joe, just to let you know, the day that I was supposed to go over to Mike and Rachel's house, I never went. So I didn't forget about coming over to your house. Now, technically, I did go over to their house a day or two later. But I filmed some stuff with them because, whether you know it or not, Mike and Rachel are now a big part of this channel and are starting to produce videos for me, awesomely enough, that I'm editing down to eventually put onto here. But I recorded a video with them in their garage. And so we recorded for a while. And after we got done recording, I left and came home. That was Monday, I think it was. I did that. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But at the time I left, it was like 10:30 at night, and I didn't think that it'd probably be practical to come over to your house and knock on your door and be like, "Hey, Joe, how's it going at 10:30 at night? Let's hang out." Because I'm sure you probably would have been awake, but I know you're working and stuff, and I'm not. So obviously, I can be up really late, and have no issues, no repercussions behind it. But you, on the other hand, you do. So I just chose to just go home instead of come over. But I promise you, the next time that I go over there and it's not the middle of the night, if I leave or if I even just go over there, I can just hit you up and then you could always come over too. Ain't no big thing with you being in no videos too, unless you don't want to be in my videos, and in which case you can go fuck yourself. Now I don't want you in my videos anyways. See how I drastically change like that? I'm like a woman with my fucking emotions sometimes. One minute I'm here and I'm all hype, and the next moment I'm like, fuck you, go kill yourself. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. So nice having a television as a fucking engine stand. I can just crawl under here. This tractor is completely off the ground. I can get this thing. Oh, I think that's it. No, it fell. Damn you. Maybe I'll just get off my ass and find a 9/16 socket. Yeah. Okay. I've decided to get off my ass if I have find a 9/5. Find a 9/16 socket. Which, I have no idea where one would be. 9/16 is big. Who's talking in my yard? People are always so quiet. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I come out there fronting on whoever's talking in my yard, and they all shut up. That's what I thought. I'm just joking. There's nobody in my yard. Henceforth, why nobody was talking back to me when I was talking to them. Oh, Lord. Oh, well, sucks to suck. Anyways, let's try to find this 9/16 socket, because make my life a million times easier if I have a 9/16 socket. We should also clarify, because I don't know that I have one. Oh, look, another 1/2-inch socket. What size is this? Is this the really big one that I already tried? Yeah, 11/16. Get that shit out of my face. Is this my first? And this is what happens, which I'm sure maybe somebody else out there probably had the same bullshit that happens to them, in which it's not such a big deal and it's not just me. But it seems like every single time that I ever am like, all right, I'm gonna build this thing or I'm gonna work on this thing, and then I go to start working on it, I never find what I need. Like, I'm always one thing short. Like, where's my 9/16 socket at? Oh, I don't know. It's lost forever. No one's seen it for 8 years because I haven't used it. Oh, wait a minute, though. Guess what, guys? A 14 millimeter fits a 9/16 bolt. What's up, though? What's up, bros? Well, that's cool. While editing, um, while editing these videos Rachel has been making for me, I've been watching this other guy that I've watched. I used to watch a long time ago when I was younger, but haven't really kept up with him much anymore. And then I seen one of his videos pop up a few days ago. I started watching it, and so it's been a couple weeks now, but a few weeks ago I started rewatching him. I've been rewatching all of his vlogs pretty much. He makes a lot more money than I do, being as especially he just made $35 million in 1 year. And that was only through one venture of many of his. But regardless to all that, I was rewatching this stuff, and he's got this dude who edits his vlogs. And every time that some of you, I doubt any of you know who it is, but maybe somebody out there might rewatch this and know who I'm talking about. He goes like this, and every time he opens his hand, he goes fire or explosion, explosion, explosion. And the guy edits little explosions coming out of his hands. So they'll be sitting there, and everybody that's been on his channel like knows of this. So they'll like be talking to somebody who hasn't really ever been on the channel before, but they'll be like explosion, 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 explosion. And this guy has to edit it, and it's really a big pain in the ass to edit small things into videos like that. I've never really dabbed in doing anything too crazy special like that, but now that I'm learning all this stuff, I'm like, dude, now I want to learn how to do that. So now that I've been editing all these videos, I've been teaching myself how to edit things in. So I'm hoping to get it to the point where I'm going to start having things explode and catch fire and stuff like that in the videos. Because, I mean, this camera quality sucks. My camera, which is this beautiful baby right here, this is a Nikon S7000. She's a very beautiful camera. Fortunately, nowadays you can get them for pretty fucking cheap. But when I got this let me say I got this for Christmas. But when I originally got this camera, it was a $700 camera. And it does amazing quality. Like, it looks dope as fuck even through the screen and everything like that. But like it says it records in 1080p, but I'd say like it probably records like beautiful 720p at 60 frames per second. But then at the 1080p, you're only getting like 25 frames per second. So it's really not the greatest compared to most 1080ps. But Rachel's camera, on the other hand, that thing I guarantee is running at 1080p, 60 frames per second, never skips a beat, records the most beautiful, crystal clear quality shit. Now, her camera cost her a lot of money when she bought it, And if you look it up right now, it's not like brand new. It's a little bit of an older camera. But the funnier part about it is her camera, if you were to buy it used or brand new now, is $700. So you get $700 or $800 for her camera because it's older and cheaper. And this camera you can buy for about $150 because it was starting price of $700. I unfortunately dropped mine in the toilet, so it stopped working for about a year or so. And then one day I turned it on, and it for some reason turned on, and it's worked ever since. So I have no idea how it survived that, being as I literally was open when it fell into a toilet. So it was dead and it wouldn't work ever again. And I was like, no, I'm never going to be able to use that really nice camera I got. And then what do you know? It started working again. So I have that guy set up so that I can record me working on the tractor whenever I'm not live streaming, because obviously as I'm live streaming now, I can steal footage from a live stream if I want footage for what I'm doing to the tractor in like a full length video. But then this guy is only for when I'm not streaming. I can still record the progress, and then people don't wonder where the progress went, which is even funnier because all I have recorded with this guy today was SpaceX launched a rocket into space today. I watched that at 3:30 this afternoon. Yeah, Joe. Haha, funny. Making small penis jokes. I see how it is. You're not allowed to be in my videos anymore, you asshole. No, I'm just joking. Actually, funny enough, I just woken up and I put my camera into my pocket and I ran upstairs to go pee. And since it was in like the hoodie pocket, which, is like the center hoodie pocket, it was kind of dangling on the side. And when I reached down to hit the flusher of the toilet, because obviously I'm so fucking tall, I got to reach over things and reach down to actually like fucking flush the toilet. When I leaned down to flush the toilet, I tipped at an angle enough where it just rolled right out of my pocket and fell into the toilet. And when it fell and hit the bottom of the toilet bowl, it pressed the button and the camera opened up while it was underwater. And I watched as the screen went, huh, and then turned black, and it was dead because it sucked in water. And I was devastated, and I cried and I cried and I cried. I didn't really cry, but I obviously was crying inside because I'd only owned the camera for about 8 months, and I had babied it and taken care of it and done everything in my power not to let it break. And then I took it down south and recorded all kinds of cool camera footage of drifting the four-wheelers and mudding and all this other stuff, and never once had a problem. And then boom, when I dropped in a fucking toilet one morning, it gutted me. Here's a 45 auto round. Never been shot. Yeah, what's up? Keeping myself strapped up out here, even though I don't own a 45, so it makes no sense for me to have a 45 bullet. But hey, you never know. Some thug tries to fight me in my garage late at night one night. I just fucked him up with that 45 round. I'll just throw it at him like, bitch, you think you're cool? You think you're cool? Okay. It helps if you actually find the nut before you attempt to do any more work. Something tells me that with the way this is positioned, that I have it on Titan. So let's see now. I can get it to break loose. It felt like it wanted to, but it's the problem of it's really close metal, and when it gets stiff, you get scared that it becomes unstiff really quickly, because that's how you bust your knuckles. And I've busted my knuckles enough times to know that it fucking sucks. Well, I'm getting there, but god damn, your boy's got some real strength up in this bitch. I'm not talking about loosening, I'm talking about how I fucking tighten this thing. Holy shit. It's a tight fucking bolt, which means your boy got some muscles in here he has been hiding from y'all under these coats. I mean, I can't lie, I bolted this on like a year and a half ago now, so, it's a little bit stuck into this position. It's been here for a while. But here's also the good part about this too. This is one of 3 bolts holding it on, 2 of which I think have 2 sets of bolts, like a bolt and a nut, and one of them is just a bolt that wasn't long enough to get a bolt or get a nut to. So after I get these guys busted loose, it's got to come right off, and then comes the amazingness of trying to start planning out how to rebuild this front end, because it's going to be one hell of a task, I tell you that much. And if Joe really donates his tractor to me, I'll give him 15% ownership of the Dragtor, allowing you to play with it and enjoy it, because I'm obviously, once I build it and actually get it running good, I'm taking it down south, because we need big flat open fields to be able just to rip her open, go really fast in a straight line. But so if you donate parts for my cause, I'll hook a brother up and let you have your fun with it. But there's one that was really not too bad, but could have been easier at the same time. Being as here we are. I mean, I know I talk a lot. Big surprise there, especially being as my name's Matthew Talks a Lot Freeman. So it makes a little bit of sense. I talk a lot, but okay, I see what it was. So it wasn't that this bolt wasn't long enough to make it through. It was that the steering got in the way of this front bolt, and obviously since I'm a scrub, I didn't pay attention to that. So there it is. I can only get it partially up like that, but I've got a nail punch in there that I'll have to use with my hammer and get that guy to bust back loose. Now I'm hoping this one maybe acts a little bit nicer to me. It seems like it's less on there. The post for the bolt is shorter than the other one was. So hopefully, as long as it comes out nicely, it should take less effort. But the problem I'm now running into, God dang it. All right. Just gonna have to do it like we were doing it. Bust this bitch loose. Alrighty then. Oh, look how easy that is. That's what we're talking about, boys. That's what we're talking about. And ladies. But we only have 2 people watching, so not really sure who it is that's watching me at this point. We have 4 likes though. I appreciate the 4 likes. That means I got 4 people liked my stuff. I'm not really sure who all would have been. Probably Joe and Rachel and Martin would give me 3, but who would have gave me the 4th one? I'm unsure about that. Oh Lord! So that bolt stuck into that piece of wood. So until I get that other bolt over here undone, all right. Now we got to find ourselves this nail punch I had in here, and I've got a screwdriver right here I could use, but this is one of those things where it's like, well, you spend an extra 5 minutes taking a quick gander. I mean, hopefully it don't take me 5 minutes to find this thing. There it is. I have an actual nail punch that would work 10 times better than boom, baby. Look at that. It came out. This is my board. I used fancy engine stand board for the motor. I lost the socket, and I have no idea how I did it. Oh, it wasn't the socket. It was the nail punch. All right. Unfortunately, I do have to use the bathroom. I was going to hold off as long as I could, but now that I'm getting stuff done, my body's like, woo, go pee. Because I've had to go pee. Plus, it's raining outside, and I can hear the rain on the roof of the garage, which makes me have to go pee even more. So I'll be right back. I'm going to mute it. I don't think anybody's going to hear me be able to go to the bathroom. But guess what? In the off chance you do, you're not going to see my Peter in this one. It's reserved for only special people get to see my penis. I won't mute it. You're not going to hear me. I'm out of here. Peace out, bitches. Y'all suck. All right. All right. Now that we've relieved ourselves of said wooden engine plate, and we have relieved ourselves of said penis liquid, we will smoke another cigarette, drink a little bit of pop, and get back into the excitement world of the Dragtor. How are we gonna get that front? Oh wait, is it already? Oh shit, it's already coming out. Well, no shit. That's scary. There's nothing holding this front end in there. Huh. Let's see. Turn this way. That's out of the way. Oh shit, it is. Wow. That's scary. It's kind of scary when you start taking things apart and you realize how little was actually holding things in, and how I used to go fast and have a lot of fun on this thing with it being the way it is, and here it's not even safe. It's really quite dangerous the way it is. Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for your boy getting oh shit. Oh shit, the whole fucking front end just fell off. This is glorious. We're making some serious strides on the stream. Where'd that fucking thing go? Oh. Look at that greasy ass chunk of metal that was pinned in there. And at one time had a clip in there holding it on. And that clip is no more. It's disappeared somewhere. So nothing was holding the front end of this tractor on, but pure hopes and dreams, pretty much. That's all it was holding it on. I don't remember now how this thing came off. Interesting. Because I'm okay. Well, let me get this done, or get this picked up here. Oh man, so much weight is fucking reduced on this thing. Just removing. This is a solid front end. Look how thick that is. Look how fucking thick this fucking solid chunk of steel is that ran the steering in the front column. I'm actually really happy to see that gone because it gives me a better idea looking at that front how I want to build it. I just have to try to remember how I got this fucking steering rod column off. And I don't remember how I got it off. Obviously it came off. And I'm not no super smart mechanic. So if I figured out how to get it off, I think I'd be able to figure it out again. But I honestly do not remember for the life of me how I got that son of a bitch to come off of there. So maybe it broke off. I'm trying to think because it's like a ball. I don't know. It's literally, I think it just broke off, to be honest. Not broke, it's not broken. It's just not, like, it doesn't look like I actually did anything to get it to come off. It looks like it came off on its own prying. It probably got pried up or something, disconnected itself, but I don't want to fuck up the steering because, like I said, I want to try to reuse it if possible. Might be able to get this wrench on here. Let's see if I can loosen this one bolt up enough to probably be down to get it off. Well, that's right. The steering wheel's gotta be locked so I can. Nope, I think I was right the first time. I think it's up to go off. Now, this is the one problem the TV is gonna give me is it's right in the fucking path of where I need to twist this. So, I got very little space to work with, unfortunately. Damn it. I don't like you when you're stupid and don't act right. Let me see, what about this 1/16 wrench? I hate these wrenches. I'll save you guys a little, anybody out there that does any wrenching probably knows this tip already. Did that work? Please tell me that worked. I think it worked. I can't tell. But I bought these wrenches from Harbor Freight. It did work, but it's gonna be such a pain in the ass to try to get this fucking bolt off of here. Might try to use this socket, but let me explain these guys to you, okay? See this wrench? See how it doesn't look normal? It's got this little cave right here thing here. You see that? Now this wrench is a 9/16. It's supposed to be an anti-slip wrench. It's got this little cove in here, so that way it catches a thread and it can't slip off. Problem being is, because it's that way, if you don't put it the exact specific way that it's supposed to go on, it doesn't catch. And then you just have a 9/16 wrench that spins around in circles and doesn't do any good. And then every once in a while it will catch, but it won't catch in the way you're hoping it will, and then it won't come off. So this is a Pittsburgh Pro from Harbor Freight. I would highly advise that anybody would just get a regular Pittsburgh wrench instead of the fancy locking ones, anti-slip ones, because they are a pain in the ass. They don't seem to ever work the way they are supposed to. Look at that. When have you guys ever seen Matt Freeman's hands dirty? It happens quite a lot, actually. I'm never doing anything like this on stream. I'm usually just sitting down and talking, which, like I explained to people in the past, what's the difference if I'm sitting here working on this tractor talking about a bunch of bullshit, and if I'm just sitting there talking about a bunch of bullshit? I mean, either way, you're going to listen to a bunch of bullshit. At least now I have something to do, and you have something to watch while I'm talking about a bunch of bullshit. So that's why we're doing this. It's why we out here making these plays for y'all. And then one day, hopefully, not forever from now, but hopefully one day we'll have this guy done. Oh, let me guess. The socket won't work because it's not fucking deep. And the bolt, can't grab the bolt because it's fucking, that's just a real bitch. It's a real bitch. It's not a deep socket, so it won't fit. Grr. All right, now back to the shitty 9/16 wrench that doesn't work very well. Just gonna have to slowly feather it. Slowly take our time. Just doing like little quarter turns. Because I have zero space to work with this nut. But once I get this nut off, I'll have the steering off, which the whole front end will come off, will no longer be attached. And then I can just start figuring out how I'm going to extend the front end of this. Now, unfortunately, since I do these streams at such a late time at night, I will not be able to do any physical drilling or cutting because that would be way too loud. And I do obviously have neighbors that don't want to hear all that bullshit. But that's why we've got a camera here to record me doing that stuff tomorrow, and henceforth you'll get a video update of what's actually happening to the tractor, what I have to do to build her. It looks like a big redneck machine, and I totally agree to that, and you are correct 100%. I am a redneck. This is a tractor that I'm building into something that it was never meant to be, but I'm doing it because it's a solid tractor frame, and people like to build these things to go fast or try to make them so they can pull a fuck ton of weight. And I'm going to make mine go fast. If it pulls a bunch of weight in the process, then hell yeah, that's a bonus in my eyes, but our whole main purpose is just to go fast. And this side don't look too bad because whoever welded this thing on welded this one down below, but this weld is so fucking high up there, bro. So I'm thinking I can just lay in here, tack weld it to this frame, but definitely got to do a massive clean job on this thing. It'll be another one of those things where I'll show in the video. I'll have to. It's got so much oil and grime buildup on it, like it's ridiculous how much is on this fucking thing. And when you scratch it all off, you see that this thing has a brilliant, vibrantly red paint job. But I'm probably gonna have to scratch most of the paint off just to be able to get contact for the welder, to be able to weld. Oh shit, that's 9/16 as well. No fucking shit. Starting to figure out that seems like a lot of these main bolts on this thing are all 9/16, which is fucking good because some of these, like this thing, is fucking completely pointless. I wouldn't say like pointless in a bad way, but pointless in a way of I don't need this handle on here because it actuates whatever you're pulling behind the tractor. And I'm not going to be pulling anything behind the tractor that would need this to actuate it. So there's no point in having an extra lever there for no reason. Trying to finish the rest of the cigarette before I dive any farther into doing any more work to it. Everybody like died in the chat. I don't know what happened. It's like weird that one day everybody just decided that when they left the chat or like when they left from watching the video, they wouldn't even say goodbye to me. Like I say goodbye. I tell people good night. Like I've got 2 people watching, and I don't know who those 2 people are who are watching me, but you aren't talking in chat. And if there's only 2 people watching me, and there was at least 3 people talking, I'm assuming that at least one or two of you left using the top of a TV to put out a cigarette. Another great quality of a used television to be used for a better purpose. Oh, oh Lord, oh Lord. Um, interesting. Really hoping that this thing doesn't come loose on me. Anyways, I might, you know what I can do? A little unorthodox, not to say that it's too crazy of an idea, but I can just actually grab this entire thing and stand it straight up. Gotta make sure to try to put anything too important over there. Okay, TV, don't screw me over now. Man, this thing is so heavy. This frame is such a solid fucking frame. I mean, it kind of looks like I'm picking it up with ease because, you know, your boy over here got the big muscles and stuff, but it's actually quite a bitch. Okay, it's definitely going to dump those tools out, so I'm going to reposition my body here and grab these tools and these bolts and nuts before they go tumbling all over the ground. And, shit. All right, here's the other news article. YouTube boy gets crushed by tractor because he's trying to balance it and forgot why I had this piece of wood stacked up behind it when I was moving the tractor around earlier. I moved the piece of wood because I saw it. It's like, oh, I don't really need it there. I'm not using it for anything, but here I am needing that piece of wood there because it needs to bounce. Put this brick on this far side that gives it that extra weight so it don't fall down. Now, if it does fall down, all it's going to do is break my TV, which is no big deal, being as it ain't no fancy television, but oh, it's all right, Holly. Do you still have a migraine from hell, or what? Because if you got a migraine, you don't gotta fucking stay and watch me wrench on my fucking cool bad dude tractor. Even though you're missing it, we're killing it on progress. Gotten so much done tonight. So much done, honestly. I'm not even joking about this. Like, I kind of, half-ass, you know what, getting my truck all dirty, which it is a Carhartt. It's meant to get dirty, but this is actually my nice Carhartt, even though it is all dirty, so it doesn't really make too much sense saying that, but it's the nicest Carhartt I have. And I'll try to save it for as much as I can. I mean, it's pretty fucking cold in this room, so just a sweatshirt is not really going to cut it, but at least long enough to finish getting that stuff apart. I think I was going to say before I start going off on the randomness of what I was just talking about, but I kind of had a, like a small amount of idea of what I wanted to do today in the stream, what I wanted to get done. Oh, shit. What I want to try to attempt to accomplish tonight with this tractor here. Oh, shit. Well, how are we going to do this? I need you to stay one way or the other. I don't know. I don't bloody know how I'm going to get this stop spinning. Unless that works. Nope, not even close. Alright. Anyways. Guess we're just going to have to do this. Oh, sweet. But the small amount of things that I had listed to what I wanted to get done tonight on the tractor and during the stream is actually pretty much done. I mean, I figured I'd give myself 2 hours to get a couple small end projects of this done, and we'd see how the progress went from there, and then trying to help us figure out what to plan, what to figure out to do future ones, and I don't know if Rachel's here still. Well, actually, Holly, because both Rachel and Joe work during the day, which I mean, not like it's a big surprise. Obviously, a lot of people work. I'm just the only loser that isn't working right now. So they tend to both go to bed a relatively early time. Just the upsetting part about it nowadays is no one even says good night to me anymore. Everybody just leaves the stream. It doesn't say good night. They just leave, and then I just realize when they stop talking to me that they aren't there. Um, uh, so it's just kind of sad, you know. Like, why does nobody say good night anymore? What, you can't say goodbye to me? My money didn't come today, which was another one of, you know. And I don't know. It's like my status changed through the IRS, and the IRS accepted my thing, but they didn't tell me how much money I'll get or when I'll get it. Expect 72 hour, or expect to see your money possibly in 72 hours, it said on their website. And 72 hours puts me at Friday, and my bank doesn't deposit the checks until Wednesday. So if I do get a return, it's not going to even show up until uh next Wednesday. So it's like it's killing me. I'm not working, so I'm not getting any money, and the money that I'm supposed to be getting from the government is being tied up and it's taking so fucking long to even get to me. It's like, I don't know. It's annoying. Boom. And look at that, my friends. After a little bit of extra work, we officially got the mega front end off of this tractor. And realistically, now it's just going to go sit in a pile somewhere, safe, away from me being able to mess with it. Let's actually see why we have it here up like this if I'm able to get this other, I guess probably not, but not locked. See, that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you get these fucking wrenches to lock like they're quote unquote supposed to. And then you start twisting and you realize it's not even fucking locked. It's just playing games with you. It's like, oh yeah, you know how I locked over that nut? Yeah, actually I'm not really locked, so good luck. It's like, oh, okay, cool, thank you. Glad I bought these really nice socket or these nice wrenches so they just slip off whenever they want to, you know, because that's why I bought them. Just slip off. I'm gonna tighten it, so I need to go the other way. Yeah, I think so. Actually, seems like it's working at the moment. Well, nope, I was loosening it, so I'm an idiot. The second time I was an idiot. I was correct the first time, but I'm trying to get this other bolt for the steering off because when I build the new steering, I'm going to have to use this plate, and it's so much better to have this already pre-taken off and accessible for me to use than it would be to put this front end down and realize, oh, I have to take that other steering column off. And like I said, I think it broke. It's a little bit sad that it broke if it did, um, but I think it broke when I I tried to get the other arm off. I think I thought I was doing something good and never really broke it. So, oh no, don't do that. Okay, good. I'll use this socket wrench, ratchet, I should say. So I use the ratchet to get this baby off the rest of the way because what's fighting that I gotta do is come off a lot faster. A lot faster. Even though it's still taking its damn sweet time coming off. Or it's too stuck in there. All right, or that happens, and okay, that works nonetheless. Well, a little finagling. I got that bolt to come off too, but unfortunately now it's stuck in the socket. Are you did you have to post a do you have the ability to actually post a like for mine I had to fill out one of those non-filers because I didn't make enough money last year where I wouldn't have filed for my taxes anyways. So I did a non-filer tax form that they accepted, but I need to find somebody else out there that did the same thing. Okay, so yeah, you did the same as me. So I feel less bad then. No offense. I mean, I know you and me both. We both need our money, but it's one of those things where I feel less bad knowing that somebody else out there that has a non-filer they put also haven't received their money because, like I said, mine's been a complete and utter bitch to me. Mine's when I posted mine, it told me within 24 to 48 hours the IRS would contact me and let me know if they've accepted it or not. So I got an email from the IRS literally like 12 hours later. It hadn't even been 24 hours. Like 12 hours later, I got an email from the IRS saying that they accepted my return, which I was confused to what that meant. I thought that meant like it was accepted as like, okay, we're going to send you money. But that wasn't what it meant. It just meant they accepted it like they got it and they were like, okay, cool, we're going to go over it. So I kept checking back and checking back and checking back. I did this for an entire week and nothing changed. And then finally, out of nowhere, I checked it 2 days ago, and it updated and said, "Congratulations, the IRS has processed your claim, and you can expect to see money within 72 hours." And well, see, I never got an email that the IRS accepted that they reviewed it and they accepted it and that they were going to send me the money. I only found that out by checking the e-file through the non-filer website. So through their website, it told me like, hey, it's been processed and you can now expect money relatively within 72 hours. Like I said, that was a couple days ago, and it was a day ago. So in theory, in 72 hours, that would put me at Thursday. But I was like, oh, let's give it till Friday. So if it's going to be till Friday until I could even get the money, but then to find out that Huntington will only deposit the checks that you get on Wednesdays because they're trying to cut down on the amount of people that are rushing to the bank and trying to cash and deposit these monies they're getting. So instead of making it available on every day, it was only going to be available through Huntington on Wednesdays. So if I get my money come in on Friday, I've got to wait until Wednesday until Huntington even gives it to me, which is like complete and total bullshit. I told my mom about that, and she thought it was weird. I told Rachel about that. She also thought that was really weird, which pretty much means that most people think that I wouldn't say I'm lying, but they don't think that I'm accurate, that I'm fucking up somewhere. And then my mom got an email yesterday, well, she's already gotten hers, but she got an email yesterday that said the same thing, that Huntington won't give you your money until Wednesdays. So now I'm just praying that this Wednesday comes, this next one comes, and I actually get paid, because today is Wednesday and I didn't get paid. And that means I gotta go a whole nother fucking week just to hope that I get money. And if I don't get money, then I'm just gonna be screwed. I'll be so screwed. So screwed. And what bothers me even more is to find out that dead people are receiving this money. Like people who are dead, who are known to be dead, are receiving stimulus checks from the government. But yet, here's a guy who actually needs the money, and I'm not getting it. But this dead person, totally, they deserve to get the money, because of course, why not? They're dead, right? But me, no, it's a big deal. Big deal. Big deal, big issue. Well, I guess we're done with the front end of this bad boy here for now. I mean, I got to work on it, designing what I want to do to the front, but I don't have to have it. I don't need to have it in the air, because what the things I have to do to it now involve it needing to be on the ground, so I can plan out how I'm exactly going to do this. See, and here's the other slight issue, which no one's here to even talk about it, in the sense of it involves Mike, which Rachel has a direct line to Mike, and Joe, being Joe is Mike's brother. He also has a more direct line straight to Mike. Well, Mike keeps telling me he'd give me this 50 horsepower engine he's got. And I really need the engine to be able to build the front end, so I can understand to what limits I can extend the front end without messing with the engine too much. But I'm not sure. Mike's been saying for a while now he'd give me this engine, and we have yet to get it. But Mike isn't going to give me this engine. I need to work out and design a way to use one of the other engines I have, which I have two snowmobile engines. One's a V-twin, it was a 550cc four-stroke snowmobile engine that was ported, blueprinted, and extended. The jugs were extended to the point where it turned it into a 650cc, so it added 100 cc's to it. So it's a 650cc four-stroke snowmobile engine. The problem with it is it was left outside on the snowmobile frame for 20 to 30 years, and the engine's completely solid. Like it's froze up. The engine doesn't move. It needs a lot of work. You're going to talk new pistons, re-sleeving the cylinders if they're ate up, new piston rings, new crank, new bearings, all the 9 yards. Be a dope engine to have when it's all said and done, but the block for the engine is an 85, and getting parts for it's probably going to be a complete and total bitch. But then on the other point, then I have a 1970s two-stroke. I was actually told it was a 250, but the more I look at it, I think it's probably like a 125. So it's probably a 125 two-stroke snowmobile engine, much smaller. Engine's not seized, it moves, everything like that, but it hasn't ran in like 50 years. And so, that'd be a little bit of a bitch to get that running, but at least I have it all together, and the actual engine stuff, like getting the engine to fire and work correctly, wouldn't be that hard, because I have quite a lot of people in my life that are pretty good with engines that would be able to do the work for me. And not even in the sense of just saying like giving up and making somebody else do the work, but I just mean like, somebody else out there that actually knows what they're doing can get the engine fired up for me. I'm realizing the lighting is not so great. I apologize for that. I just need a better quality camera, and then we won't have to worry about this anymore. Which I can maybe somehow figure out how to hook my GoPro up to my computer and actually use the GoPro as the main feed for the for the live stream. I think that it would be a lot better quality, a lot better, a lot cooler. Um, um, yeah, it is bullshit, Holly. I understand. It's all our government's so screwed up at the moment. It's impossible. But these are angle iron, big chunks of angle iron that make up this frame. And so I'm thinking of just taking a little bit of smaller angle iron, and then inevitably I'm either going to have to drill new holes and bolt this guy on here, or I'm going to have to or just like set it up, or half-ass set it up, clamp these on here so they stay, so that I know how to, or where and how to build this front end. And obviously this bar comes all the way out to here, and I'm not trying to make it that much longer. I'm literally about half of this bar, about to here is where I need it. It would add an extra about a foot to the front end of this. Then both tires would come off of either side of this, a foot forward, the engine sitting back here, having the engine a foot farther away from me forward will make the weight in the front even heavier and have less chance of having this tractor want to stand straight up on its hind wheels like it does on me already. But definitely going to have to do a lot of metal cutting. I got to grab this piece of metal that's over here. The other side of the garage. If I can find it. Boom, baby. This one's already got pre holes drilled in it, and it's even longer than the one that I was just trying to use. Damn, it's so long it actually almost hits the computer. It's that long. See, you can see the end of that metal. It's literally about 6 inches between here and the computer. So this one's already got holes drilled in it. This would be the biggest bar you could get on here because of the fact the way these welds are on this thing already. It's actually already seems like it doesn't really want to sit very flat because of this one weld, but I could always take the grinder and grind on that weld just a little bit, not erase the weld, but just trying to grind it down so this thing will sit more flush. And then I would have to still drill a hole or two to bolt this guy on there. But seeing that this piece of wood or this piece of metal is pretty big and fits, and since its length is long enough that I could cut it and have even amount on either side, probably means I'll probably use it. I'll see if I got any other angle laying around. This is angle iron for anybody who doesn't know. It's iron, and if you can tell, it's in an angle. It's a 90-degree angle, just like that. That's why they call it angle iron. But I can see if I got anything else a little bigger out there. If I do get anything too big, I'm going to have to actually notch the angle iron itself around these pieces, though, which will definitely weaken the angle iron a little bit. So that's why I think this piece I have now will probably work the best, due to the fact that it's that I wouldn't actually have to cut the metal of the angle iron to get it to fit. It's pretty much the largest that it can be and fit at the same time. And find what I did with, it should be over here. So I find what I did with my tape measure, and then measure a foot. Foot forward is to there. That's a pretty big distance. Let's see what this looks like. I know to you guys this is probably not the greatest angle. You really can't see a bunch of anything going on. Uh-oh. My axles are trying to fall off the bench here. It's because I got the computer sitting there, and they're not supposed to be a computer sitting here. So, but yeah, so, but add a lot. Maybe I don't need a whole foot. Maybe I only need like 9 inches, 10 inches. 10 inches gives me, if I go from the 2-inch mark to the 10-inch mark, that's 8 inches wide, which would definitely be plenty. Let me measure this wheel over here, because I do have one of the quad tires that is going on the front. Oh, falling over. One of these quad tires sitting over here. And I can at least measure this inside diameter of this brake drum area, which is 5.5 inches. So if I had 8 inches to work with, and 5.5 of it takes up the wheel hub, that gives me an extra, what is that? So inch, 2 inches, 2.5 inches. I got 2.5 inches of play on either side. So separate that. So you're going to have 1.25 inches on every side. So it'd be 1.25 inches, wheel hub, 1.25 inches, which should realistically be completely good. 10 inches gives me there. So we got tire and tire. Be like right here, and this would be center tire right here. So tread would make it back probably about to here. Which pretty much, I don't know. So if I went with a foot, that only adds 2 extra inches, which would be 2 and 2.25 inches on either side, right? Yeah, 2.25 inches on either side of the wheel that way. It's a big gap though. Let's just go back. I'll just build the front end to be 10 inches longer. If I really fucking regret it, I guess I can build a bigger one in the future. An even longer one. Ooh, now I think about it. If I say fuck it, what if I made it 14 inches? How long is the plot? 42 inches. What's half of 42? Holly, are you good at math? Are you good at math, Holly? Do you know what half of 42 is without me having to pull a calculator out? Actually, I already know the answer. It's 21 because I'm all right with simple math, but 21 inches. That's the longest I could make the front end of this. It's all right, Holly. We figured it out. Half of 42 is 21. So 21 is all the way to there, which is fucking hell long. I really don't need a front end that long. I was thinking if I made it 16, it was 16 inches, and we go from, say, 6 inches to 16, so that would give us the 10 inches I was talking about wanting to build the front end. That still gives me 6 inches, except for the problem is there's only going to be 3 inches of metal touching the actual frame. So you're going to have 16 extra inches of extra weight. And you're going to have one on either side, and then everything that's built up the top of it, which I guess realistically, I could also then figure out how the engine's going to go, and I could build custom supports on the sides or something. Yeah, actually, no, that makes complete sense now I think about it. I could totally do that. Kind of build something like that, put these angles up against this metal and just tip them up and connect them. That'll be all right. We'll do 16. All right. we're going with 16 inches. What we need is a board. I got a pretty interesting idea I wanted to do, which Holly, since you're my OG. Hey Tiffany, how's it going? Long time no see. The last time you saw me, I was really drunk, and now I'm working on stuff. Not drunk. But I'm definitely thinking of drinking again sometime this weekend and recording it, because it seemed like we had a lot of fun and a lot of people enjoyed watching me get shit-faced last Friday. I think it was last Friday or whatever day it was. I was fucking wasted, though. I tell you what, I'm still unsure whether the entire bottle of Ciroc I drank was actually good, because I literally sat for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes after drinking half a bottle and never felt a single thing. So it kind of makes me feel like it didn't work. But so I'm just going to make a slight list here so I don't forget things. Front end build. I think I spelled build wrong now that I think about it. Isn't build, is it B-I-U-L-D or is it B-U-I-L-D? Because I spelled it B-U-I-L-D, but now that I look at it, I don't think that looks right. B-I-U-L-D. No, I definitely got it right. Definitely B-U-I-L-D. Drawing it out the second time was like, yeah, that don't look right at all. B-U-I-L-D. Yeah, okay, cool. We are on the same page. I thought that it looked wrong until I wrote out the wrong way, and then it totally looked right. Front end build, 16 inches, like my dick. Ha 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 ha. It was a joke. Don't hate me. So I had this little idea. I have a chalkboard, right? It's a real big chalkboard. Well, I would say big, but it's like 3 foot by 3 foot. I'm thinking about hanging it up somewhere. I'm still unsure as to where I'd hang it up if I do. But I have a whole box of street chalk, like big sticks of chalk that you'd draw shit with. My idea was taking the board and writing out the board, and I will put how I have this set up, I just wrote front end build. I'll write somewhere in the front corner, it will say moderators, and then I'll list all the moderators in chat, or in that are people who I make moderators, which obviously we only have 4 of them currently. It's Holly, the OG, Michael, which is also an OG, but he's flaky in time to time when he shows up. Mark and Rachel, and so we'll put the moderators down, and I might do like a new subscriber section. So anybody that I see that just recently subscribed, I'll write down to give you like a slight shout out, whatever, whatever. And then I don't know. I just had a few ideas of what I might want to do with this chalkboard, and with the stream. Maybe write down an agenda of things I want to do, like things I want to build or finish building or work on and stuff like that, just to give me more of an idea. But we're going with 16 inches long, like my dick. Make that joke again. "10 inches of room to work with." From front backwards, which doesn't make a bunch of sense reading it, but as long as I remember, I want 16 inches long, Then at that 16 inches long, 10 back from the very front, gives us 6 inches between the frame that I'm going to build to the main frame I have. Oops. Self-built frame, 10 inches from back, 10 inches front back to backwards. And then that gives us 6 inches from built frame to actual frame. Just trying to get this stuff marked down so I don't forget, because this is definitely things that if I don't have this stuff written down, I'll forget, and then I'll have to redo this whole process when I'm like, wait, how long do I want to make this? And it would be just so much easier. So what I have is 16 inches long, 10 inches from the front backwards is the self-built frame. So that's what I'll be building. And 6 inches from built frame to the actual frame is what I wrote underneath, meaning naturally, as I was saying, that it'll be out 16 inches. The first 10 inches of that 16 inches is where we'll build the frame that the tires will run in. That also includes suspension. So I'm going to have to find some form of shock or something to use. I used to have shocks. I have no idea. They're either up on top of this fucking loft I built, or I got rid of them a long time ago. I have no idea, so we're going to have to find them. That gives us 6 inches from the built frame to here, and that's still with 3 extra inches on there, because that's the 3 inches that will be on the frame connected. So realistically, there'll be 9 inches from there to there, but I didn't count these 3 inches because I'm only going from the front of the tractor, and these last 3 inches will be connected to the main frame of the tractor. And like I said, then I can just build the frame in like a triangle manner. This is kind of the idea I have. I mean, I can half-ass draw this. It's not going to be, you guys saw my truck drawing. It's not going to be no fanciness, but if this was the straight bar, and what will happen is I'll get post up from here and a post up from here. A post connecting those at the top. Probably one lower down. Then we'll have to have some form of pivot point. And both of these will come down like this. This is a real shitty drawing because I'm obviously trying to draw a 3D image in 2D, but it's kind of what I have in mind is this thing right here. So this is the frame, the bar of the tractor. So say that like here is where the main tractor starts. It's just going to be a bar going up, and it's going to have like some form of janky built together frame, and this is the tire that's being held on by this triangle piece, which is going to be the axles or whatever. And then realistically, we'll just run a piece of metal going catty cornered down like this, connecting it to the frame so that when the engine's on there, these are my muffler stacks. The engine's on there. It's a horrible looking view, this drawing design, but it should fit. It should fit, and it should look pretty cool when it's done. It won't look so retarded. It won't look as bad as that horrible drawing I tried to attempt for you guys. But that was the kind of general gist of the idea of how I want to go about doing this build for this guy. Being as I can't cut anything right now, I can't actually build any of that, but I can probably get started on the cutting tomorrow if I have time to get to it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then maybe the day after, but probably start trying to put it together sometime tomorrow, recording the process as I go on my fancy camera, and doing what we can in stream when we can in stream. I'm not gonna say you can't build a shock. It's definitely like beyond my level of understanding. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that build their own custom shocks and probably work perfectly fine. But being as I'm not a mechanic, nor am I an engineer, I could figure it out, but they'd probably be real janky and they probably would cause more issues and probably more risk of hurting you than if I just said fuck it and go out and bought some new ones, or possibly talked to someone that I know that has some front shocks for a four-wheeler into giving them to me or something like that. Excuse me. I mean, realistically, I've got shock. I have shock stabilizers for my Dodge that somebody gave me that are secondhand that would probably work. They're more like meant to catch you, so when the truck starts bouncing, it makes it so it just hugs it and it just stops bouncing. No, I mean, it's a good question. With not knowing nothing about working on stuff and building stuff, it's a valid question. That's what I was just saying. I'm not going to make it sound like I'm sure somebody else out there has built their own, but just in my world, a shock would just be well safer and better off to just go and fucking find or buy one than it would be for me to try to go around and cheat the system and make one. For the most part, like this front end frame I'm going to build, obviously I'm going to fabricate it, so I trust myself enough to do that. But the shock is, like I said, just a little bit more important for the whole thing. And if you got a compressed spring, and if that spring comes shooting out when you're going really fast over something and smacks you in the face, I mean, it will break your face. So it's not really something you want to half-ass or risk making something shitty out of it. So I'd just much rather go with the safer route of just putting something on I actually trusted than building anything on my own device. That's why with this original front end that was on here, I was going to try to design a shock system that ran on the original front end, but I realized for what I would have had to have done to tear it apart, or for what I would have had to have done to attach the shocks to the front end of the front end that was here, I would have had to have altered the front end that was on it. And being as this is a antique tractor, I'm sure I'm going to break it eventually, but I want to try my best doing everything I can to keep it as not broken as possible. Even though if I have these bars cut and I end up having them welded on here, you can always grind off a weld and get this bar to come back off. And sure, you're going to have grind marks on it, but then the frame will still be the solid frame that it is, compared to like trying to alter it in a way where I can never take it back to its original form. And that's pretty much where I'm at with it, in the sense of I want to change it. I want to make it awesome. I want to have fun with it. But at the same time, I'm trying to do my best to make it stay as stock as possible. So that way in the future, if I ever was like, screw it, let's put this thing back together how it was, so it's just an antique tractor again, and put it all back together, I can have it in its original form, and I don't have to worry too much about me having already fucked up what was here. If I run into a problem where I have to alter something and there's no way of going around it, and you know, like there's no way of like finding a way of going around it without altering it, I probably still will, because I still want this toy to work. I want it to do how I envision it and what I'm thinking about with it. But just also, like I said, I want to try my hardest to not change it as much as possible. If you want, since I mean you're on your phone, so you'd probably have to leave the stream to do it. But if you go to like Google and you look up 1970s wheel horse, just literally the word wheel, WHEEL, and then horse. That's what the name of this tractor is. It will show you pictures of what one would look like brand new. It will either show you pictures of one brand new or show you someone else that has one that's been fully restored and looks brand new. They are amazingly cool looking fucking tractors. But this thing's never going to be that good again. I mean, it will look nice after I you know, it's like one of the things I'm gonna have to do to it is I'm gonna have to clean it. It's got a whole bunch of, like I said, dirty oil and like build up, corrosion build up, and all kinds of just shit that's built up on this frame, and the oil that was used for, or not oil, the grease that was used for like the steering is all, it's still good grease in theory, but it's getting kind of dry, and it could do with some new grease. So I figure what I'd do is, you know, if I can't particularly work on this in the sense of building the frame because I don't have a welder, or I have to cut metal, or I have to drill holes and it's going to make a lot of noise. You know, there's just other things that could inevitably come up that eventually I'm going to get stuck, and you know, I want to work on this and stream, but I can't because I can't fabricate things in the middle of the night, or I'll wake up my entire neighborhood making all kinds of noises. Like, you know, I can totally spend time starting to clean this guy up and making the frame look vibrantly bright and clean. And I mean, there's dirt on everything, literally everything. All the pedals have dirt filled up. And I mean, this whole tractor is just got all the dirt, all of its original dirt on it. I still also have to take this basket off. You can hardly see it here, but there's a battery basket right here, just a metal plate that went on the back part of this toward the steering side. I originally left it because I thought maybe it was helping the steering stay in place, but now the more that I look at it, it has literally nothing to do with keeping the steering in place. And all it is two bolts on the bottom. Take those off and pop this off. That will give me an extra, I don't even know, say 6 inches, an extra 5, maybe an extra 4 or 5 inches of engine space that I can fit for the back here. And like I said, I can clean this bad girl up. She's gonna need new red paint. I mean, I'm gonna leave her the color she is now. She's like a faded red, and I love that because it shows her age more. But if I want her to look like fancy, flashy, new, I'm gonna have to give her a new paint job. So maybe at one point I might have to have some company like Home Depot or something take in a piece of one of these metal bars or something that I can take off that still has its vibrant red paint to it, and have them scan it, figure out what color red this tractor is, and maybe pick up some spray paint cans and give her a slight paint job on some places if I really want it to look super fancy good again. But like I said, those are all, you know, these are details of making something look flashy that's not even in any close to being in working order. So I still got a lot of work to do to even get her into that point. But the seat's missing, so I can't particularly sit on this very well. I'm pretty sure if I sat on it, might still be heavy in front enough to keep me down. So I'm a little nervous about doing this because if it goes horribly wrong, this tractor is going to flip over on me. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Don't break, please. All right. I know, I know I'm cramped on this thing. In theory, my ass should be about 6 inches backwards, but I'm afraid this thing's gonna tip if I lean too far backwards. Yeah, I'm testing. Oh, it feels so sketchy. I don't like doing this at all. But yeah, I'll be back here pretty much like this. My angle's a little off still because I'm still hesitant about wanting to put too much pressure backwards. Just get your big old fancy steering wheel. Legs will go here. I mean, there's there's feet, little pad things here. Good solid feet pads. Here's your brake. Pull on this. It actually pulls the brake, disengaging the rear end from being able to move. This is the clutch. There's engaged clutch. All right, this is engaged clutch. This is disengaged the clutch. And then you have your transmission down here, which is a 3-speed gear shift transmission to a rear end that's fucking massive, and it's probably the strongest and safest part of this entire track. Now I gotta get off of it. Oh, look how wide those legs are. Yeah, baby. Straddling this girl. Oh, God. Almost pulled my groin muscle. Woo! Surprised I survived that, to be honest. I thought I was going to fall over. Yeah, big guy in a little tractor. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like a real tractor. It's built and designed to be like a real big tractor, but it's a small lawnmower sized tractor for your yard. And so that's why I also was like, it would be so much better if the frame was just a smidgen longer, just stuck out just a little bit more. It would also be safer because then it won't stand up every time you try to do any form of gas, and then it's trying to do wheelies on you, and give you more weight. But yes, but it is very much so a small tractor, and when I sit on it, I know I look massive, but it'll look even cooler once the longer front end is on it. We got a big fucking engine on it, and I'll be going fast, going fast on this tractor. I'll be tipped down with like a bicycle helmet on to have better aerodynamics, and I'll just be like, ah, racing like a race car. Hopefully you screenshotted me on there. Somebody better screenshot me on there and make gifs of me driving this big little tractor. Even thought about rebuilding the back end, making some form of farther back seat, because I could do that as well. So the seat would be way back here. Like, but we'll see. We'll see how safe it is or how sketchy it feels with that extra 16 inches on there. I don't want to add too much of a bunch of shit and then find out that everything I meant was everything I built was flawed and it was all a waste of time. I'd rather just spend the time extending the front end and not worrying about trying to extend the rear for now. But we'll see. See, actually, I don't want to make too much of a mess over here, but it does look like it's accessible. I do have the hood for the tractor. Ooh, I get it without being wrong. Ooh. Wheel horse. Mack, if you know what a Mack semi truck is, Mack trucks, like semi trucks. The Bulldog, you see this Bulldog? Mack semi truck company owned Wheel Horse back in the day. So this is actually a Mack Wheel Horse lawnmower. So you can see it says Mack right here, big letters, M-A-C-K. It's obviously flipped for you. It says Mack right on the front. It's got the Mack Bulldog up top here. It's the actual hood ornament, tractor hood ornament, steel dog. This is one of the two lights that came on it. There's another one that was over here, but the one was busted, so I took it off already. This one still works, but I don't really particularly need it. So it also will be removed eventually. How it's sitting at the moment is how the front end of the tractor would have been built. Like, you know, it would have been designed to look like this. But when I build the front end, I'm going to try to build that front end extension so I can set this on top of it. And it'll just be extended, and maybe take some sheet metal I have and add it to the top of this here to bridge the gap of where it will be not, because obviously this front end was built to be a to fit the size that it already is, and I don't want to mess with it too much. Look at that bulldog. This bulldog right here. This is a 1970s Mack Bulldog hood ornament, and I'm not even kidding you. This bulldog is probably like $100 or $200, like, to get one, because it's an immaculate shape. It got no corrosion on it, and Mack doesn't make it. Mack's logo isn't even a bulldog anymore, so that even shows you even more how it's actually quite expensive. Well, I've been trying to keep this everything, like I said, everything that's original on here. I'm doing my best to try to keep it original without actually damaging it. And if I extend the front end, and I can still get it to get covered up by that front end, and I put some sheet metal back here and build my own extension to make it back so it fits over top of like it would originally. It would just be longer, so it would still fit. I can make all of that bolt-onable to the point where I can use the existing bolts for that front end, and I won't even have to mess with it at all. I'd show you the original engine that was on here, but it was a 3 horsepower. And as of a comparison, I can show you the engine I put on it. This engine here, this is a 5 horsepower single overhead cam Honda engine. This was from a pressure washer. It doesn't have I had that piece of wood. Holly, you weren't here for it when I had this piece of wood on here that I took off originally, but this is how it sat originally when I was using this engine. And this is only a 5 horse, and this still had enough power to make this tractor pull wheelies with the setup how it's set up now. And the original engine that was on it, being as it's a 1970s tractor, had a 3 horsepower. So that Honda engine that I picked up so effortlessly, brought it over here, showed you, moved it around, just went and set it back down. Super light, 5 horsepower. The engine that was on it was twice as big, had 2 less horsepower, and honest to God, the engine itself probably weighs 200 pounds. I struggle to pick it up. I can't even get it off the ground. When I pick it up, it moves about an inch off the ground, and I shuffle with it because it's that heavy. And it has 2 less horsepower than that engine that I could pick up and like throw it if I wanted to, that had 2 horsepower more than it. So it goes to show you that back in the day, they built everything out of solid steel. It was thick. It was heavy. It was, I guarantee if you had the right carburetor for it and put it on, it'd fire right up. It's a beautiful engine. It's a Kohler, which means probably nothing to most people because I don't know if Kohler still makes stuff that people would even know about, but it's a Kohler motor, big solid engine. Guarantee would start right up if you had the right stuff to get it started. But it was only a tiny little 3 horse. It makes no sense to put such a small engine on it. Like I said, we put a 5-horse on it, makes it do wheelies, which really 5 horses is not that big at all. And the engine that I want to put on it is a 50 horsepower motor. So literally, I was getting this tractor to stand up and throw me off the back with 5 horsepower, and I want to add another 45 horsepower to that and put a 50 horsepower motor on it. So now you maybe start understanding why I want to make everything super safe and I want to make sure it's done right, because if I really put a 50 horsepower motor on this, it's going to be fast. It's going to be real fast and scary, but I'm all right with that. But now that I'm paying attention to the time, I see that this stream is at 2 hours and 10 minutes. I have no problem going longer than the 2 hours that I had, but I had a list of things I wanted to get done on this tractor tonight. I got all those things done. So even if I continued to stream at this point, I would just have to sit down and talk, which would be no big issue. Obviously, people would still watch me do that. But I got everything done that I wanted to on this tractor tonight. I didn't think I'd even get near close to getting half of them done. And within the first hour, I almost had everything done. So I'm cool with ending it where we're at with what I got done on here. And like I said, tomorrow, if for some reason I haven't had it set up where I can actually continue to work on it, I can always post the camera up and just start cleaning the bad girl and just talk to you guys like a normal stream would. Just sit here talking to you guys while I'm washing it down or cleaning it up or whatever, if that's what I have to do, if I haven't gotten anything closer or anywhere closer to where we're at. But I started the stream at exactly 10 o'clock. I was making sure I was on it. I had everything pre-set up and ready to go 20 minutes prior. So when it hit 10 o'clock, I hit start stream. So if it's 2 hours and 12 minutes, that means it's currently 12:12 right now. So I don't want to keep anybody up too late. It is late. We shouldn't stay up too late. Us Ohioans or AKA us East Coasters don't need to be staying up till 1-2 o'clock in the morning, regardless to if we're working or not, because the more we stay up late, the more we sleep in the next morning. And then if you don't sleep in the next morning, you still get up super early while going to bed super late, then you get no fucking sleep that night, and then you're fucking dead tired all day tomorrow. And I don't want to be all tired tomorrow because I got stuff I want to get done. Still got more stuff to finish up in the garage. Pretty much it's mostly clean. Like Holly, you didn't get to see it, but I'll move this back here in a second. Actually, I'll let you get the full grasp of it. Still a few things laying around, but you'll see once I put the computer back on my desk over there and move this thing that you're currently sitting on out of the way, you'll realize how open this garage is now and how much work I have actually done at cleaning this fucking thing out. Don't feel bad about being late. Obviously, we've gone over this a million times. Much rather you be healthy and happy and feeling good, watching me while you can in a happy and healthy manner than forcing you to fucking try to watch my shit while dying of pain or of a headache or whatever, or being sick from chemo. And I want you happy. I want you healthy. I want you safe. And so I'd rather you do what you got to do. Let me move this stuff out of the way real quick so you can get a little bit more of a view of how opened up this garage has gotten. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and make it sound like it's the most beautiful garage you're ever going to see. I'm sure it's still quite dirty in some people's standards, but if you even read higher up in the chat, like what Rachel was talking, Rachel's seen this garage before it got cleaned, and she can attest. She's not here, but she can attest that this is probably it is the cleanest that she's ever seen it. That's for damn sure. But I mean, it was bad. I mean, she was blown away. Rachel was completely blown away when she saw how clean this fucking garage is, because she's been my friend for 10 years now at least, and she's never once seen this garage this clean in her life. So, I mean, it's completely open right here. There's nothing here. Fit naturally. My chair that's sitting off to the side over here, my race car chair, would be sitting here, but I have it moved off to the side, so you get more view of the garage. Then you have yourself, 3 feet of walking space between the motorcycle and the tractor. It's all cleared out over here. Still got a couple stuff laying around here, but most of this stuff's my dad's, and I just need to get it organized and put away. But same with this stuff back here. This is all my dad's gardening stuff. Just needs to be organized. I separated all this stuff and put it into more organized spots, but I need to put it up on shelves and get it out of the way. There's also a big metal filing cabinet back here in the side that I can start putting a bunch of stuff in of his to get it out of the way. There's some boxes of his that's got car parts back here in this back corner. It's actually this piece of metal here that you see right here. That's what that's covering up. There's still some stuff right here too, which is pretty much the rest of my stuff. We got a pallet sitting here full of engines. Got a couple bags of trash that are still left over that aren't 100% full. So once I collect some more trash out here or something, I can throw them in there and get them out of here. A whole entire box of Legos that needs to be put into a tote and taken inside my house, because apparently I took my stuff outside. This big blanket here that's covering up. This is my dog sleeping. I have to cover up her cage now when I'm out here working at night, staying up doing these live streams, because she doesn't go to sleep. So now I'm covering her up overnight, so she actually has the ability to sleep. I mean, look at this. I can run around, I can jump, I can dance if I want to. We can do whatever we want back here. So much room for activities. Room for activities. There's so much room for activities. So much more room. But more than anything, with the stream coming to a close, I'm happy I can put this Carhartt back on, because Ohio is fucking cold outside. And I've been out here this whole time in just a sweatshirt, as to not try to get this fucking jacket too dirty, because you can see, I don't know how well the camera can see, but there's dirt right here. This is all grease and shit that came off of the tractor while I was trying to work on it earlier. So I ripped this jacket off. That's not to try not to freeze as much or so fast. But goddamn, is it cold. On top of putting the Carhartt on, I now can smoke another cigarette and use this lighter that I found in my pocket. This is the original dashboard for the tractor. Put that back on top of it, because I don't have any actual need for it right now. Come on now. I'm planning on putting wheels onto the chair, so instead of just dragging this heavy ass chair around and trying to reposition it, I could tilt it back on its wheels and roll it around, either get it out of the way or back in to where I want it. Same with my workbench over here. I'm going to put it on wheels to also be able to wheel it around easier. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed what you watched, Holly. I also have a laser pointer now. Woo! Look, I got a laser pointer. I can now be like, okay, what we're going to do is work over here, okay? We're going to work back. You even see that? Oh, yeah, barely. I took this thing out last night. It was playing out in the dark at like 2 a.m. And I can get it. There's a water tower that's like 3 streets over from where I am. and I literally could draw pictures on the side of the water tower with this laser pointer. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble with this thing. um, but yeah, so good progress, made good progress. We got a lot done, still a lot to do, but we started with the removal of things. We started pre-planning on what we're gonna do with the tractor and how we're gonna build her up and stuff like that. But besides that, I'm gonna go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed what you saw. If you did, a like would be much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, you should subscribe to keep up with cool, awesome content like this one. And if you're already part of the channel, you could share the video and show other people how fun and exciting this video was. You can share it to your Facebook. I always say share the video, and people ask me from time to time, they're like, where am I supposed to share the video? And I'm like, where else do you share videos to? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? I don't know. Wherever you normally share a video, you could share this video. Just go down, wait until there's the VOD, because like this is the live stream. And you can share the live stream, I do believe, but you wait until you pull up the VOD, the post video on the YouTube channel, hit the share button, and share it to somewhere. Show people where you like to spend your 10 to 12 o'clock at nights, because we need to keep building up the people here. We're going up. We got 8 subscribers in the last 4 days. So that's a lot of people. We're slowly but surely making our way up to the road to 500. We are currently 30 away from 500 subscribers. And then after 500, we're going for that 1,000, baby. Going for 1,000. That's 500 more. And the only way we're going to get there is if we put the word out there and we show people what we're doing on this channel. We show people how much fun we're having and all that glory. So we slowly making it there. And that's why I'm hoping also that with the help and the working of Mike and Rachel and everything that they're doing at their house, and the videos we're recording over there. I've got some videos they've already recorded that's just of her and Mike, that will be going up on the channel. But then Monday I went over to Mike and Rachel's house and recorded a video with both Mike and Rachel that I was also in. So that way it's a little less confusing to everybody why there's just 2 random people showed up one day and they have no idea who the fuck they are, compared to, when I'm normally the one that's always on the channel. So expect to see that one here eventually here. You'll see, it's like a continuation. So you'll see Mike and Rachel's video of them by themselves first, because like it would be like a second video, a second part of a series of videos that they're making that I'm in the next one that will come out. I'm the one editing all videos, so don't act like there's just 2 random people showed up and you have no idea who they are or where they came from or anything like that. I'll be doing all the editing and everything behind it. So I might voice my own opinion over top of their video from time to time if I feel like something needs to be interjected or something like that. But they're both fucking naturals. They've never recorded a video in their life, and every video that I've gotten from them is like perfect. Like barely any editing's really realistically need done and stuff like that. And just the way that they have no problem talking to the camera and just opening up and explaining what they're doing and doing it in the actual useful and insightful manner it blew my mind how natural both of them are at doing it. And then, like I said, Monday I went over there. The video in which I'm in is obviously a bit more goofy and funny than it is like serious and learning, because the 3 of us together, it's hard for us not to act like children because we are 3 best friends. And we also figured out I've known Mike now for 20 years, which is a very long time to have a best friend that you've had for literally 20 years. I met Mike in 4th grade, and this year makes 20 years I've been his friend. And Rachel is engaged to Mike, if you haven't figured that out. So I've been pretty fucking close to Rachel for about 4 or 5 years now. And so I love having them involved in the channel, and I hope everybody else out there is excited and enjoys watching them. Holly, good night. I know you said good night in the chat. You don't have to say it again and everything like that. It's cool. I just figured I'd say good night to you, Holly, and good night to anybody else out there watching, or good morning if you're watching this in the morning, or maybe good afternoon, or maybe just go have a good fucking day, regardless to what time of the day you're watching this. I hope you had a good day. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good day tomorrow, because I will see you guys between 10 p.m. and 12 p.m. tomorrow night for another glorious Matthew Talks a Lot Freeman stream, in which my name's Matthew Freeman and I talk a lot. And I will see you guys for the next one, which will be tomorrow between 10 and 12. Improvisation is the word that is when you can sit and just continuously talk. You don't particularly need a reason to talk. You just can have a reason to talk. I'm improvising. I don't really know what else to say, but here I am. I'm still talking. Why? Because I'm making the video longer. Why would I want the video to be longer? I don't know. Maybe to make it more entertaining. Or maybe it's because I looked at the time and realized that we only have 4 minutes until we'll be exactly 2.5 hours long. So here we are, jambling, talking out my ass, not really making much sense about anything, just to clearly extend that time for an extra 4 minutes. And I could do this for days. We could make an entire stream in which I talk about absolutely nothing important. And all I do is sit here and improvisingly keep talking to just prolong the video as much and as long as possible. We just keep going and keep going. You talk about random stories. Like this morning, I woke up. I didn't want to get up, but I had to get up. So I rolled back over and I fell asleep for an extra 15 minutes. But then I was like, nah, maybe I should get back up now. And then I was like, maybe I'll get up now. And I was like, no, let's just keep playing. And I started playing some Xbox games. Next thing I know, it's like almost 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And I still haven't even got out of bed. I'm awake, but I'm still not out of bed. And I felt like a lazy piece of trash. So I was like, maybe we should actually get the fuck out of bed. And then I finally got out of the bed, and then I had more cleaning, or let's just say I had more organizing to do to try to figure everything else out and try to clear up as much as possible. Once I got so much space cleared up tonight that I actually had the room to do stuff that I want to, I was like, fuck it. Let's actually record myself doing something constructive in the stream tonight, kind of like working on the tractor. And that's what we went with. I'm really not going to prolong the stream for too much longer. I stopped. It takes a lot out of you to improvisingly talk like that, to just keep rambling. Your brain works harder than your mouth is, and it obviously takes brain power to move your mouth, because you got to think of what you're going to say before you say it. So you got to think, my brain is thinking of what I'm going to say before I say it 10 times faster than me actually saying it. So realistically, while I'm sitting here just randomly talking, not really making much sense, but I'm improvisingly keeping the conversation moving, my brain is working faster than the fast talk I'm already doing that's full of bullshit that makes no sense anyways. So I'm talking in my head differently than I'm talking out loud, if that makes any sense, because obviously that's how a brain works. You got to think of what you're going to say before you say it. So that's how improvisation works. If you guys were wondering, improv classes, never done them, but I feel like I'd probably be pretty fucking good at it, because pretty much as people say, they throw an idea at you and you just improvise. You just figure it out from there. So somebody's like, you're a customer at a deli and they've ran out of cheese, and that's what you went there for. And boom, that's your scene. Now you have to improvisingly act out a scene on a basis in which you're looking for cheese, but there's no cheese. So obviously you would start off by like, hey man, how's it going? So I'm here to buy a half pound of cheddar cheese, but I see you guys don't have any cheese. Do you possibly have any possibility of telling me when the next time you're going to get some cheese in? And then they're like, oh, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. I'll be like, oh man, tomorrow. See, tomorrow I've got some stuff going on. So I want to make sure that you guys will have cheese the next time I come around. So will you have some tomorrow, or is there any possibility that you will be able to hold some of that cheese for me? And then they'll answer back, and then you just continue. That's improvisation right there. That's improv classes. Just keeping the conversation going. Here I'm talking about cheese that doesn't exist, but it's fine. I can do it just fine. You can do it just fine. really easy to improvise. It's also good to improvise when you make videos and you have nothing to say for 4 minutes. And here we are coming at the last 10 seconds of the stream. I'm just waiting for that fucking 2 hours and 30 minutes. In about 5 seconds, I'm going to hit the goodbye button. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you and goodbye.